Hey, my name's PolishLynx. Welcome back to irae. Hello, this company. And yeah, I frantically stumbled backwards, hoping to put more distance between myself and the thing's third or the fourth creation figment. His weapon seemed to have regained the shape of double-edged greatsword, but this time it wasn't enveloped by lightning. Instead, it appeared to emanate poison, like the previous two figments, just in a slightly different way. The Night of Bloodstained Roses, the Nachtseller, and the previous Cain's figments all distorted space, but now it seemed to have changed itself. In other words, both his massive frame as well as the weapon he wielded turned poisonous. I knew I couldn't afford to get hit, but my body was in no shape to allow for the quick evasive movements. I successfully parried the attack, but the sheer force of our blade clashing was enough to make me writhe in agony. His blow wasn't lacking in strength, nor had I been trying to stand my ground if Cain's attack didn't send me flying. The issue lay rather in the fact that his weapon attacked the inside, not the outside of the body. I felt as if a bomb had exploded under my skin. I collapsed to one knee, unable to withstand the insane level of pain. Cain, on the other hand, felt completely silent. He neither howled in rage nor moved mechanically like a puppet. Instead, he calmly looked down at me. His current form was the worst of them all. I couldn't even touch him in that state. Attacking Cain right now would be the equivalent of jumping headfirst into a sea of lethal poison. I see that incidentally it was also completely sentient and came chasing after you. I had serious doubts I could keep standing if I took another blow. The sweat trickling down my forehead had already gained the odor of decay. But as I attempted to muster the last of my strength to escape the reach of his weapon, I had heard the cry countless times before, a name I myself was familiar with to an extent. Why did he keep repeating the name? What did he want from her? I had my own questions to ask, but this was neither the time nor the place. I forced my green body to stagger out of Cain's reach. I had to figure out how to buy some time. Under normal circumstances, using Cain's momentary confusion would be a good chance to go on the offensive. As in, I should have used this chance to activate my own creation figment and put an end to the dead freak as soon as possible. Yeah, maybe. I had already slowed the time of my own body to accelerate the spread of rot and help me dodge Cain's attacks. I would have loved nothing more than to momentarily become the type of person capable of disregarding the circumstances of others, acting only based on a principle of risk versus gain. Things would have been easier that way. It wasn't just this unexpected situation that forced me into a completely one-sided fight. I spent this whole time waiting for a chance to attempt something that could also solve her problem, which meant I couldn't go on the offensive just yet. I seriously couldn't believe myself. My head must have gone soft. And apart from being absolutely crazy, this whole plan depended on the powers of a third party. This was my thing. I mean, what the hell was I doing? I still couldn't believe she managed to defeat Wilhelm in a fair fight, yet she lost to both Schreiber and me. Yet here I was, betting my own life on her like a total idiot while waiting for her to defeat the priest. I had to defeat Cain at the very moment the seventh swastika opened. Then I would absorb him into my guillotine and attempt to reform him into physical shape. That was my plan. A hopeless bet in more ways than one. For it to work, Sakura had to first defeat the priest, and I had to hold out against Cain until she did. To make matters worse, the final step was completely dependent on luck. I didn't know if my weapon could absorb souls other than Mari's, and even then I had no way of telling if it was possible to form them into a physical shape. So far, other than Mari, I'd only seen the 3 battalion commanders formed into shape through the power of Ahnenerbe. Obviously, one soul had to be of incredible tenacity to reach that level. Hell, for all I knew, giving physical shape to the souls he absorbed had been Reinhardt's special ability as the commander of the Einherjar, and he could do it to anyone. If so, Mari alone would be a special case. I wondered whether or not the soul of Sakura's brother could be that strong. I posed him a question, knowing it was futile. Putting aside my ability to form him into shape, I guess this meant it would be a while until I could return to my normal life. I'd have to keep Sakurai company until she either found a more sensible way to bring her brother back, or gave up. It felt like a major pain in the neck, one that I brought upon myself through my softness, and against my better judgment. I had no idea how I could have gotten myself into this. Still, it bet. Having a clean woman stalk me for the rest of my life for killing that giant bastard. But in that very moment, we broke eye contact, despite being exemplified. Foolish action under normal circumstances, but we couldn't help it, given how. I'd never felt anything like this before. Incredible pressure filled the air as an eerie gas, heavy with ill omens, blew right into my face from within the church. Even if it wasn't as replete with madness and savagery as Schreiber's, as seeped in bloodlust as Wilhelm's, or as heavy and fierce as Cain's, the sheer red exuding from its vicinity froze me in my tracks, paralyzing me with ghastly horror. I could not, nor would I ever wish to, imagine the state of a mind that could generate such loathsome waves. Could this have been? A second later, the great sword soared through the air like a whip. I only managed to dodge thanks to my half-activated creation pigment. In this sluggish dimension of time, Cain slowly turned to face me. Sakurai and Father Trifa had most likely started their fight just now. The dang lunatic of a priest likely couldn't prevent his true nature from being exposed in battle. The dread emanating from the church belonged to him, no doubt about that. In other words, Cain realized that I couldn't have been the Divine Vessel. So what was I supposed to do? What was the best course of action in this situation? The ferocity of the attacks that load nearly lit the very air flame. I may have slowed the flow of time around myself, but my physical state was in severe decline. Owing to the poison and myriad other strains I had endured, I couldn't keep on touching this forever. And it was impossible to bury Cain's sword in its current state. A single touch from it could easily send me to an early grave. In that case, stumbling out of the way of his swing, I urged the giant to stop. I was too naive, Valdira Shiva. The source of this terrible miasma of dread that filled the area wasn't the kind of woman Sakurai could tackle on her own. To tell the truth, back when he asked me if I was the Divine Vessel, I momentarily considered two options. And it seemed like I picked the wrong one. I should have done this from the start. I pointed at the entrance to the church. The word seemed to affect Cain like a magic spell, freezing him in place. Could he still remember her? Hell, I didn't even know if this thing was really her brother or not. Which was why I never made use of his resentment towards Divine Vessel to shatter their unlikely alliance to pieces. Had I come here alone, I would have likely done that from the get-go. I didn't want Sakurai to see Cain like this. After all, she had yet to abandon the idiotic notion that this rotting corpse of a man was her beloved brother. For her steadfast resolve to face her past by challenging the priest also made me hesitant to try and get between them. Now was not the time to wallow in sentimentality. But in that very moment, a sudden kick sent me tumbling down the hard tiles of the road. I crashed into the wall. I received an attack that could have very well proven lethal, but as luck had it, I somehow pulled through it in one piece. Did the bastard change into another Cain mid-conversation? Whatever, I had no time for this. Even the blood I vomited up reeked of death. I gave zero shits as to the true identity of this piece of filth standing before me. I knew her brother must have been somewhere inside that dead lamp, and I wanted him to answer my question.
てめえの妹が死んじまうって言ってんだよ。助けようとか思わねえのか、クソったれ。
I had no brothers or blood relatives, but I knew what family was. Kasumi taught me. I knew friendship and companionship. Did this dead motherfucker's rotten brain really forget what it meant to wish for the safety of his loved ones? All Cain did was laugh at me. I think that's what he did. It resembled the ominous sound of clattering skulls, the most dreadful laugh I had heard in my life. The motherfucking piece of shit. Oh. You've said something terrible, dude. The thing leaned towards me like a wild animal before I leap, with all his rocky muscles tensing up along his body. He kicked off the ground with an explosion, launching a thrust with the power of a rocket. I dodged the attack by the skin of my teeth. It pulverized the stone fence behind me, leaving only rubble. The word surprised me even more than the sudden attack. Cain was Sakurai's brother, but no matter how I look at him, he felt like someone else now. Meanwhile, he posed for creation figments, his weapon and manner of speech shifting with each activation. In other words, the thing wasn't really just a he, but a they. The damn fool could have had the decency to tell me, although in retrospect it was probably my fault for never giving her the chance to speak about the matter. In any case, it sounded like her brother was the fourth one inside Cain. It was only him I had business with, the other three could fuck right off. Cain held his great sword aloft, cackling with a complete lack of motion in his face. See the pack of their blood could have meant. It's about drinking her blood, right? Or something like that. I dodged another ridiculously wide swing. Things were not looking pretty. Censored? Bloodline? He was always talking about Sakurai and her family. I didn't recall marrying her. Putting aside the truth of my relationship with Sakurai, one would have to be out of their mind to rejoice at any recognition from these abominations. I was interested in becoming some zombie warrior for an eternity, thanks! I actually peaked as I had to keep dodging the threat of their never-ending attacks. I had no time for this. I need to get to the church as fast as possible. Unless I did, she'd die. So what now? Alright, now or never. I have no other choice. It's a do or die situation. I caught Cain's weapon again, forcing it against the blade of my guillotine, with all the strength I could muster. I had no time to come up with a better strategy right now. I would destroy his weapon. Realizing my intentions, Cain began to struggle, but I wasn't gonna let him go. After having exchanging their blows with them repeatedly, I could tell that the physical strength of the first two bastards wasn't that bad. If I put my all into it, I could more or less overpower them. That was a bluff, obviously. All they had to do was relinquish control to the guy that could knock me out. The one whose creation figment transformed their own body. There were two like that inside the bastard. The one that used poison and the other with the lightning. If the former came back up to the surface, I'd likely die in an instant.
あいつを
I had no choice but to bet my life on this. After all, I couldn't.
あのバカ女死なせたくねえんだよ
So,
出てこい
and in the very next moment... Did my words finally get through? As an explosion of purple lightning knocked me off my feet, I realized that my prayers had been answered. That was exactly what I'd been aiming for. All I had to do now was to negotiate with this one. However... Instead, the bastard lunged at me at lightning speed, rounding incomprehensibly. What the hell? What was wrong with him now? He gave me two choices and no time to consider the alternatives. Cain's sword pierced through the burning air for the 50th time with seemingly inexhaustible ferocity. She seems exhausted. Unfortunately, it didn't look like she'd be going anywhere without at least another 50 strikes. Her opponent was but one man, the wicked saint. The blade she held had spilled the blood of countless men and devoured souls beyond count. Each strike she launched came with a full intent to take a life. Her techniques were utterly devoid of feints or trickery. No man that met this blazing inferno of calamity in battle could escape unharmed. And yet... the fire of her steel, rage undisturbed, yet her heart and soul were slowly being frost over from mortal red. Why wouldn't he fall? How could he still keep on standing? All of her attacks had been perfect, he could not dodge a single one. All of them were clean hits, crushing straight through his vitals. And the other opponent's body should have been mercilessly shredded to bits. Her sword had no effect, it couldn't so much as graze her completely motionless opponent. She understood but one thing. That's probably not what she understood. She could not stop attacking. The moment she halted in her tracks, her life would be forfeit. Cain lunged forward with a cry that was as much a vigorous roar as it was a scream of terror. Not allowing herself to falter even for a second, she focused her entire being on maintaining an incessant torrent of attacks.
無駄です。もうおやめなさい。どうやら買いかぶりでしたかね。正直落胆しましたよ。
His words ringing like a prayer of lament, Krifa caught Cain's sword with his bare hand.
昔教えたはずでしょう。正体のわからぬ敵にむやみやたらと攻め込むな。こちらの技が効かぬ場合は速やかにかつ深く洞察せよ。そして勝てぬと判断すれば脇目も振らずに逃走するべし。
He added more strength to disagree, realizing that her blade might shatter. Cain leapt backwards. The priest did not bother to pursue her, and instead made a faint smile.
たった3つ。しかし戦いにおいて最も遵守すべき三原則。あなたはそれを残らず忘れていたようだ。直情なのも結構ですが、少しは冷静になりなさい。それで。さてどうしますか
The priest was urging her to stop, yet Cain, having a deep sigh, re-lit her sword once again.
愚問です。
She could no longer back down.
それは愚答というものですよ。
私はそう思わない。
Indeed, the first couple of blows suddenly made her lose her cool. The truth revealed by the priest had certainly shaken her to the very core. She could not blame the outcome on luck or coincidence. He therefore the tall man did everything on purpose. She was still a relative newcomer to the battlefield, and thus his reprimand had been on point. But it won't be like this from now on.
あなたは何者ですか？ゲイか。
When faced with an enemy of unknown origin, she had to use everything in her power to identify them, then come up with an effective neutralization strategy. She recalled him saying that device was indestructible.
あれはただの比喩じゃなさそうですね。
100 blows failed to even leave a scratch on his body, and it certainly wasn't for lack of strength on Cain's part. His sheer endurance simply defied all common sense. Was the difference in their soul density to blame? No, it couldn't be. The priest possessed several immense souls, but certainly not enough to maintain such a colossal advantage.
まあ単純な高で測るものでもありませんがね。
I knew it. I was saying that in the very beginning. Likely guessing what had been on Cain's mind, Triff addressed her like he would one of his students.
まず我々の一員となる資格。それこそピンからキリまでありますが。超えねばならぬ最低線は大体規模の魂を有すること。
One had to possess at least 1,000 to call themselves a Knight of the Obsidian Round Table.
あなたがちょうどそれくらい。マレウスが連帯規模、米中尉は旅団といったところでしょうか。あくまで数だけ見ればの話ですがね。そして問題となる私のそれは。ベイとそう変わるものではありません。むしろ質という面を見れば彼より数段劣ると言える。戦場を渡り歩いていた吸血鬼は戦士の血を好んで吸い、私の中身は女子供と老人ばかり。弱者は救済せねばなりません。ゆえあなたの予想は外れている。
Then what on earth was going on? It made no sense for this sword that split Wilhelm apart to lose its edge against the priest.
先に事実を伝えましょう。私を破壊するには総軍を超える魂がいる。
バカな。
She could not prevent the gasp from escaping her lips. The man's words made no sense to her. A legion meant over 1,000,000 souls. It did not even possess an upper limit. It merely meant the entire army.
あなたは一体。
考えなさい。悩みなさい。そして成長するのです。あなたも私の娘ならば。
The next moment, the priest's palm crashed into Kay's solar plexus. The blow came with such a force she expected to shatter her spine, but before Kay could collapse from the pain, the priest's hand seized her uniform and sent her flying towards the ceiling. However, as she crashed into the concrete, she held on so as not to fall down. Had she fallen back into the priest's deadly embrace, it would have been the end for her. Instead, she kicked off the ceiling and shot towards the foe at the speed of a bullet. If hacking at him from all angles can affect, she would instead concentrate on a single point, stabbing it until her sword got through like a needle. Directing all the kinetic energy of default to her thrust, Kay plunged her sword into the priest's abdomen, right where the stigma of the Knights of the Obsidian Table had been located. Yet despite pouring all her strength into the attack, the blade bounced back, causing no damage. But it was fine, she didn't care if one thrust not enough. She'd keep stabbing him until her blade got through. She directed all of her subsequent attacks at the same precise point, not deviating a military in her aim. From this side, the action seemed akin to trying to open a hole in the concrete wall using only a needle.
発想は悪くないが。
One of his long arms suddenly jerked towards her like a snake. She had no time to dodge. The priest's palm crashed into her jaw, popping a few teeth out of their gums while numbing her brain. Yet Kay persevered, never once halting her onslaught.
ベイの拳の方が痛かったですよ。
She was not merely trying to act tough, while the priest boasted an impenetrable armor had yet to unsheath a truly intimidating weapon. She would endure 100 of his punches if she had to. In short, their battle came down to which one of the two would yell first.
参りましたね。
Trifa took a step back as Kay kept stabbing at his side. Her attacks had grown even fiercer and deadlier, but the impregnable Divine Vessel showed no signs of contorting, much less cracking open. The priest's palm flew through the air haphazardly, as if he had been trying to wave off a fly, and logically hit on the unsuspecting Cain's temple. Nonetheless, she endured and launched her next thrust. The priest lost his balance to the blow and crashed the stained glass window behind him, sending a rainbow of shattered glass dancing through the air. Under normal circumstances, the hit should have proven lethal, but Cain judged it to have had no effect. She had to choose between pursuing the defenseless target or using the momentary break to rest. However, as she was about to continue her onslaught, her feet inexplicably stopped dead in their tracks. An eye-palpable sense of danger hung heavy in the air. Her sixth sense told her that if she took another step forward, she would find herself in mortal peril. Abiding by the priest's prior warning that no good would come from mindlessly attacking a target she didn't fully comprehend, Cain decided to wait and observe. After all, her foe had yet to even form his irae. Watching him activate it without interrupting him would be the height of folly, yet a careless launch now would only earn her a fierce counterattack. In short, she stood before a turning point, expecting the priest's armor to grow thinner once he brought his weapon out to the open.
そろそろ立ってはどうですか。まだあなたが何かを隠しているのは分かっています。
Guillotine handled both defense and offense with his bare hands. As such, Cain's current priority lay in figuring out the nature of his irae. She believed that to be the key to unraveling the secret behind his inhuman sturdiness. What if he has that thing activated all the time? That would be problematic. But yeah, we know he activated something right later. What could it be for? She had the faintest notion.
黄金生産杯
The priest rose to his feet, brushing dust and pieces of glass off his mantle.
我が生異物の名前です。察しはついていたはずでしょう。その形成をここで見極め、さらなる判断材料を増やして攻略手段を模索する。まあ、間違ってはいませんが、無駄ですよ。
無駄。
Did he mean to imply that the forming of his irae would unveil no holes in defense, nor would it hint at one? No, that could not be true. No being in this world could be completely invincible.
私と、そしてマキナ卿、少々特殊な例でしてね、理解できぬかもしれませんが、出そうと出すまいと何も変わらないし、この状況も動かない。
Not a single of one Cain's attacks could even scratch him, and while she could endure his blows for the time being, they were gradually beginning to wear her down. Could the priest have meant that? No, impossible! They were locked in a battle of attrition. She would stamp him 100 times for each of his punches. The last one standing would emerge as the victor. If he planned on hiding it, then so be it. She would keep on hacking away at him until he had no choice but to unveil his secret. Doesn't she realize that's what I basically said, that it's activated all the time? Cain lurched forward, thrust once again the priest's left side. This time, however, he indifferently brushed her sword away with his palm.
まったく、本当に単調な攻撃だ。私がいつまでもこんなものを無抵抗で受け続けるとでも思ったのですか？
Haven't I said it before that the way she fights is predictable? I guess she goes with the rules all the time. Anyway, focusing on penetrating a singular point was indeed a sound strategy when faced with armor this strategy, however.
どこに来るか分かっていれば、どんなものでもこうしますよ。先ほどまで許していたのは、いずれ値を上げるだろうと思ったからです。が、どうやらあなたの愚直さを侮っていたらしい。このままでは永遠に不毛な真似をしかねないので、今後はそれなりに応戦しましょう。
His palm crushed into Cain's breastbone, right above her heart. The strength of the blow remained the same as before. In other words, she could endure it well enough. And yet, for some odd reason, its impact reverberated across her whole body.
単純な技術面では、あなたの方が上かもしれない。
Kay staggered backwards as the priest leveled a rapid succession of punches at her, each heavier than the last. Her heart grew weaker with each successive hit.
見事だ。よく成長しましたよ、お嬢さん。私が生粋の兵士でないとはいえ、短期間で死の力量を超えたということに変わりはない。
Indeed, as far as fighting technique was concerned, Kay had been obviously above the priest. She outperformed him at everything, and yet...
しかしそれは、生産杯を壊せるほどの差ではない。
Kay had yet to reach a level where she could answer one of the priest's attacks with 100 precise thrusts of her own. Would this be the end of her? No, she would not acknowledge it. Her countless wounds had stained her clothes a deep crimson, yet Kay still launched a desperate swing at the priest. Her blade hit, yet it stopped right at the priest's neck, lacking the strength to even graze his skin, let alone draw blood. Another pound crushed into Kay's solar plexus, sending her flying as blood burst forth from her mouth. She finally realized that while the priest's attacks lacked in raw destructive power, they were all designed to slowly but surely end her life. However, there was one rule that no one in this world could bend. Those that wielded irae could only be killed by one. In other words, if he truly planned to kill Kay with his bare hands, it could mean only one thing.
あなた自身が。
ええ、私こそが生産杯。
See, I was correct. It's activated all the time, basically. His own body was used as an irae, as a special case that encompassed both materialization and fusion. It continued existent in a formed state. Genius! In other words, that was already the extent of his offense and defense. Much like he had said, the flow of his battle would not be affected by whether or not he formed his act in irae. The truth rang in Kate's mind like a death sentence.
いや。
It was still too early to give up. At least now she knew it was unlikely he could raise his destructive power, that at least she could still endure. She needed to come up with a plan before her soul yielded to despair. She had to find a weakness, a fatal flaw in his defense. Such a thing might not exist, and she could very well end up only wasting her time. But she couldn't simply give up at this point.
なるほど。
Trifa gave a deliberate nod as he observed Kay rise to her feet.
鎧の隙間を見つけるといいですね。確かにそう悪くない。いいや、それが唯一の道だ。
Right. If we are talking about armors, Huxley, let's say not her actual body, then if she activated the fire, then that way maybe she would be able and basically put that armor in fire, then she might be able to notice where the fire like slips in. So maybe it would work that way as well, and there she can attack like directly basically.
聞きなさい、レオンハルト。実のところ、私を破壊する術は3つある。
Okay, seriously? Was he telling the truth or was that merely one of his lies? Woven only to thwart her. She could not tell, but it would not hurt to listen for now. Trifa meanwhile raised 3 of his fingers before her.
まず第1は、マキナ教の一撃。条理を無視した終焉のルール。そして第2は言いましたね。総軍を超える魂をぶつけること。
And the third one, suicide?
この2つ、どちらもあなたには不可能だ。
An all-ending decree that ignored the laws of physics, or strength surpassing that of an army. Kay possessed neither of these things.
ハイドリ秘境のレギオン、副首領閣下の砲術。それらの強度はもはや常軌を逸している。これは実際、完全無欠と言って構わぬ領域だ。方法その2などは理論上のみの話であって、そんな魂が実在するかどうか私とてわからない。故にマキナ教、彼が暫定ではハイドリ秘境に次ぐ強者として、私は一目置いているのですよ。下手をすれば 主殺しすら可能であるものとしてね。
A wry smile appeared on Trifa's lips as he described the nature of the Deus Ex Machina, with a hint of reverence in his tone.
つまりですね、レオンハルト。今までのあなたのように真っ向ぶつかって私を壊せる者などマキナ教しかいないのですよ。故に彼以外の者がそれをなそうとするのなら必然第三の方法しかなくなります。
And that is?
それが
そう、すなわち隙間を見つけること。
So there is one. Provided such a thing truly existed. It had to. He implied it himself.
なぜ今私にそれを。
さて。
Trifa shrugged his shoulders with a smile, as if implying he had said all this merely on a whim. The unveiling of his only weakness did not seem to affect his air of mocking superiority in the slightest.
信じる、信じないはお好きなように。もしかしたら私は単にあなたをなぶろうとしているだけかもしれない。
He might have been trying to instill false hope in her, only to later plunge her into an even deeper pit of despair. After all, it was a truly effective way of breaking one's heart and resolve. This would hardly be the first time he had done it. However,
忘れてもらっては困ります。
that she was a tremendously sore loser. The chink in the priest's armor would likely not manifest under normal circumstances. There was no patch of skin on his body she hadn't attacked yet, and Kay would have noticed if the priest was consciously trying to defend a particular spot. As such, she had to make a gamble with fate. She would pour her entire being, all the strength and vitality she still had left after the hideous onslaught, into the final attack. Kay realized that the priest likely revealed his secret in order to incite this very action from her. As long as she could not overpower him in regular battle, he would not show a gap in his defense. As such, Kay needed to put her life on the line, if she wanted results. After channeling her being to this strike, she would need to follow it up with another to deliver the finishing blow. Whether or not she possessed the power to overcome that contradiction, she did not know, but there was no other way. And various scenes from Kay's life flashed through her mind as she entered a state of trance, singing her aria of war. The happy memories of her childhood. Those blissful days filled with warmth, and the merciless whirlwind of blood that swept them all away.
なんだ、やっぱり。
Deep down, she was just like Fuji. She had already gone past the point of no return, so she hoped that he, at least, could avoid becoming like her. Her flames turned to a storm, their crimson wings enveloping the chair. This would decide everything. If the Divine Vessel felt himself powerful enough to shatter the blazing scarlet fire of her conviction, he was more than welcome to try. It was the priest's turn to take the bait. No mere punch would extinguish the flames now. As such, he would need to unveil his trump card. He would need to open up his defenses in order to reveal the zealous craving burning in his heart. The tears of blood tricked down the priest's cheeks as he witnessed Kay evoke her creation figment. The stigmata on his hands, legs, and abdomen all held in unison, licking fresh blood. Having reached the final stage, it appeared they could contain themselves no longer. The Trifa remained unconcerned, for he shared in that sentiment with all his heart and soul. And for that reason, even though he could have worn down the girl till she was all but dead, he chose to reveal his trump card in order to end her life in an instant. Only that would break her heart and resolve. Someone, Kay, Trifa, Ren, or Cain would soon meet their ends.
そして私は残る誰一人として生かす気はない。
Trifa would sacrifice them all to the seventh swastika? This in turn would taint the pentachroma, thwarting the return of God. And with that he would finally hoist the cross of eternal penance on his shoulder, and make his first commemorable journey down to hell.
来なさい、我が愛し子よ。
Trifa made the smile of a loving father, all traces of malice gone from his features, and motioned for Kay to step forward.
いずれあなたも救いましょう。こたびは煮えに甘んじなさい。
バカなこと。
He would betray everyone to save all, such was the man's resolve.
キルヒアイゼン教もあなたの兄も、いずれ私が救います。そこに藤井さんも入れたいのならば、4人で幸せになればよい。所詮バルハラなどシャンバラなど泡沫のチリアクタに過ぎぬゆえ、私が何度でも作りますから。
Kay launched forward. She had to slay this man, no matter the cost. She hoped her brother Medrici would watch over her. She had been too foolish to understand what those two really wished for. She knew they must have felt indignation at the priest's wild trickery. After all, the two had been in love. And the fact they ended up crossing blades was likely Kay's own fault. Thus it was her to put an end to this tragic tale. She soared onwards like a raging comet. Her heart transcended regret, anger and sorrow, turning completely serene. It was neither revenge nor desire to surpass one's tutor that drove her onwards now. She would cleave him apart, and with it the chains binding her to the past. No other path could lead her to a brighter tomorrow. However, if she had been permitted to speak her true feelings not as a blade of the lion but as a simple feeble woman, if her fate was to burn to cinders before achieving her goal, Kay had one wish she wanted fulfilled. By this man who had brought her nothing but trouble. This would be her last and only wish. She wished for him to make love to her one last time. Whoa! She poured her entire soul into that one swing. The attack, sparing not a single drop of her strength, would leave her mortally open. And that moment would prove to be the turning point. The Divine Vessel would unveil a gap in his armor only as he turned to deliver the finishing blow.
親愛なる白鳥よ、この角笛とこの剣と指輪を彼に与えたまえ。
This very moment. So he was lying after all? The dead warrior, turning himself to lunging, advanced towards me through the slow time of my creation figment. The great sword drew a white arc, a killing that behind it, now impalpable. That bastard wanted to end me, no doubt about that. What should I do? What were my options now? Unless I did something quick, Sakura would likely die. I was neither underestimating her nor trying to inflate my sense of worth. The emotion came to me in the form of conviction as a kind of foreknowledge. Sorry. But if I killed Cain here and now, the same swastika would absorb his soul and I'd lose any chance at saving the bastard. Sakura would never forgive me for that. I cursed myself. When did I turn into such a sentimental fool? Heroes trying to save people left and right and even hoping for gratitude. If I had the power to make things go that conveniently for me, I wouldn't be in this screwed up situation to begin with. I wouldn't have let hundreds of people die. But at the same time, that was precisely what made me comprehend the wave of a human life. The great sword shot at me again, spitting lightning everywhere. This moment would decide between life and death. I would... Oh boy, what should I choose? No, that definitely needs to save. Oh, come on. I think here. Okay, that's the choice I need to keep, I believe, so... Yeah. Oh boy. I think I need some help with that. What should I choose here? Or maybe... Or maybe here? Oh boy, that's a tough decision. That's really tough. Let's go here. Never give up. How many times have I messed things up to this point? How many mistakes did I make? And how much did I regret them? You could call me naive all you wanted, but I would never acknowledge a conclusion I didn't like. That's right, let's kick some asses, I think. I caught the giant blade of the greatsword between my two palms. The lightning scorched my flesh, and the force of the blow shook my body to the bones, but I refused to fall. That was enough to make me give up. That's true, that's all they talk about. I couldn't stomach them, I found their very existence repulsive. The bastard kept forcing all sorts of shit on me, without caring about my opinion. That's true, that's true. I glared at things certain based from up close. He might have been a puppet or a raving mounted time, but I didn't forget what he did back then. Those dreadful scenes, both at the club and the school, flashed into my mind with stark vividness. That's also true, I guess. Sakurai could say whatever she wanted, but I wasn't planning to let the bastard off that easily. He wrought havoc without end, killing hundreds in the process, not to mention kicking my ass a few times too. He even tormented his own sister to the point of tears. I sure as hell wasn't gonna send him to hell just because he asked nicely. Where exactly? I wasn't gonna give him an easy way out, now that he had regained his senses. No, this. The strength behind the thing's blade began to wane. His teeth clattered, forcing a voice out through his withered throat. My name wouldn't mean anything to him, that was what he asked. The words describe me best at the moment. We were the same, you and I. A tremble ran across the giant's shoulders. I could feel the legion inside the thing divide and begin to riot. The strap within him reminded me of a full-blown balloon just waiting to burst at the lightest touch. The four kinds emerged on the surface all at once, and any conscious control they had on their giant body completely fell apart. Regardless what Sakurai's brother might have wanted, the other three were an amalgamation of malicious rage and bloodlust. It wouldn't be long until even he ended up swallowed by that ocean of wrath. The senses he had momentarily regained were but a candle's flame against the swirling gale of deep-rooted resentment, which prompted me to attempt yet another trick I had just come up with, the wildest, craziest gamble of them all. In other words, I didn't know if I could do such a thing. I'd never attempted anything of the kind before, but it wouldn't hurt to try. As far as I was clean out of options, I had neither the time nor the energy to calculate and worry about the chances of success. I ignored the monster's rumblings, instead focusing all my attention on the guillotine in my arm. I couldn't pull this off on my own, no way in hell. It was entirely too off the wall to be done by someone like me. So,
Mari,
I need you. Please answer me. You haven't really disappeared, have you? I can still feel you inside alive. Something merely interfered with the link connecting us. The story had yet to conclude, and I wasn't gonna accept a bad ending. Whatever stands in our way, I blow it all to smithereens, so please come back to me. Let us mark our covenant. One more time. May the guillotine's thirst be quenched. May it bath in blood. Rubedo and Nigredo, gold and mercury, even the divine vessel, it didn't matter. The whole of the obsidian table would fall to her plate. So come back to me, Mari. I would sing the song of bliss in an advent of the promised time, the decapitation scarlet up burning hot on my neck.
お前は美しい。
In that moment the world was swallowed by eternal twilight.
ほう。
これは。
What, did he go level up? Far away, deep within the throne room of the Great Valhalla, the beast made a smile while Mercury narrowed his eyes. What they expect to be a mere farce was about to take an unexpected turn, the very notion of which filled their hearts with sweet amusement. Could it perhaps lead them to the intoxicating wonder of the unforeseen?
では参ろうか。
The monarch of destruction slowly rose from his throne. The goal, the apotheosis of supremacy would soon descend upon the battlefield. And if he did so, then naturally...
さあ戻れキルヒアイゼン。我が元に。
His army of invincible and Herriar would follow. The halberd feature of the Crimson Nightness twisted in jubilance. What the hell is going on? The impregnable lips of the sombre knight curled up as he felt the iron curtains he himself let lower begin to slowly rise.
さて、ならば私は義務を果たそう。
What the hell is going on? Did he level up? I need to know. Let's get out of the castle and I need to know. Mercury smiled to himself and proceeded down the path alone, his black coat fluttering behind him. Did the curl of the lips indicate or joy or lament? Was the shade scorning or sympathizing with torment of mortal men? Eventually he addressed someone else present, each of his words pouring forth like an incantation.
君はそれで良いのだな、マルグリット。
Something inside my right arm changed. My body had grown lighter and far swifter than before. This was the true form of my creation figment, my overture. Like a tranquil yet intense essence filled my blade, answering my craving. Not a single moment would escape my grasp now. I could not afford to fail here. This blade existed only to protect each and every moment I cherished. Its very nature prevented it from steering me towards a conclusion I would regret. There was no place for tragedy in our story. Sacrifice and mine. We wished for a joyful conclusion, a happy end to satisfy everyone. Hence, I knew I could do it now. I would sever the shackles that held the four Tuvalkines tied together. And once I did. The chaos of the beast engulfed the four, swallowing the weaker before the strong. Even though one had been free from the chains of the others, the pool of the swastika would alone the one to escape. However,
踏みこたえろ。
the young man's voice lacked even the tiniest hint of doubt as he shouted his order like it was the most obvious thing in the world. Not moment, I don't know where did I get that moment there. His soul was the vessel of a fierce, dazzling soul burning bright. If only she had as much strength as him back on that day.
遅くはない。
Indeed, it was not too late. Yet. Now is not the time to worry about being too ashamed to show your face or concern yourself with the fate of my red self. I told you to fix that wishy-washy side of your countless times, didn't I? This was a problem I had to solve myself. Something I swore to end within my own generation. It needed shackle you, Beatrice. You have to learn how to let go. Perhaps the young man's misconception was for the best. My soul is enough to atone for the shameful deeds of my family. A whimper poured forth from her lips as her blind eyes bled from fresh tears. She did not want to hear him speak like this. It only made her feel the bigger fool, left all alone in the world. You are not alone. Resentment was the only emotion shared by each kind, their soul bound, and the young man had severed it. That's why you alone have the right to... I mean, did you forget that I called you beautiful? A fate like this doesn't suit you. So please go, and look after her in my stead. She's still a child, and needs your help now more than ever. My blade severed Cain's neck, and as it did, the body of the giant burst like a balloon, turning to dust in mere seconds. In its wake, thousands of tiny particles of light rained down upon me like a squall of fireflies. And within that ephemeral light, its majesty hardly befitting the final moments of so-called monster.
彼女を頼む。
I could have sworn I spotted a man smiling at me for a split second. Yet once I blinked, all I saw was the colossal grey sword jutting out of the darkened ground. I fell to my knees, parts of my withered skin peeled off and fell to the ground. I could feel my body's metabolism resuming as it began to rejuvenate my half-rotten insides. Cain's defeat appeared to have freed me from his poison right away. However, did it all work out the way I wanted? I felt relatively confident I succeeded in separating the fourth one from the rest. Still, I had no way of telling if he managed to resist the pull of the swastika as it went berserk from the smell of souls. Once again, I had to simply trust in the strength of a third party. I could only hope that Sakura's brother was really the strong man she made him out to be. In that moment, Cain's greatsword cracked and shattered to pieces before I could even react. I could tell that the priest and Sakura were still alive as the seventh swastika opened, but what about that brother of hers? Could he have been devoured just now? No, wait, what the?
Ken.
A new sword now towered in the place where Cain's weapon used to be. A simple hilt conveyed an air of gracefulness through its design. With an edge jagged like lightning, it looked more like a work of art than a weapon, something I would expect to see in an art museum.
これは。
Could this have been? As I reached out towards the hilt, it still somewhat hesitant. The sword suddenly erupted in the explosion of dazzling light. Meanwhile, why do we have to skip between scenes like that? I know what happened. I can predict what happened there, basically. A sonorous sermon of wicked sanctity reverberated across the burning walls of the chapel. The time had come for the true nature of the Divine Vessel to be unveiled, a man that could very well be considered the Obsidian Table's strongest knight. The comet of scarlet flames had already closed into the priest's very feet. He could feel the pressure of its scorching heat on his skin. It was a desperate charge with one's whole being behind it, an attack meant to claim the life of its target. Hence, the time to draw the curtains had arrived. Fair, free, well, cherished lion maiden. Foes shall be saved from this terror of eternal recurrence. Requisite in pace, Leonhard, the hands of the Messiah rest upon thee. The scarred blade crushed into the priest's shoulder with unparalleled vigor, yet it stopped dead in its tracks, unable to rend flesh. His mantle torn, the priest's bare skin emerged in the open without as much as a single burn to taint its pallid complexion. Yet the invulnerable man had nothing but praise for the God in his heart. A poignant emotion welled up in his chest as he shed tears of blood that would unfortunately evaporate almost instantly in the scorching heat. Say what? Not even one of the battalion commanders could have escaped from this blow unscathed. The priest felt nothing but awe and reverence for his grand ascension of the girl's passion. Nevertheless, her path had been blocked by the Divine Vessel, an indescribable instrument of the gods. Sifa made the sign of the cross as he uttered the final syllables of his sermon. The girl had no way of escaping him now. She might have steeled her resolve to bend the rules of the world and summon another blow from nothing, but no hope could persist in the face of his blade, the fangs of his craving. The lance, right? The might of the Lord. What he lasted for, what he madly desired, was the power of the absolutes. So that he would never have to lose anyone close to him again, to never have to destroy them by his own hands again. He craved for power beyond all measure. He craved to become him.
ゴルデネシュバンローエングリーン
The radiant beam of golden light paralyzed Kay. She used up all her strength and resolve to bolster the fire, pouring her entire soul into this one attack. To continue, she would truly have to conjure power from nothing. Well, no matter how you look at it, nothing might be like limitless power. Anyway, she knew it would come down to this, and had been prepared to sacrifice everything to deliver a second blow. But yet her void trembled, and began dissipating. The face of the supreme divinity radiated by the priest's lance. No mortal could sustain a state of idleness before that light, and exalted, all-powerful divine artifact, the very lance that once spilled the blood of God.
なぜあなたが
Despite knowing full well that speech would only disturb her state of nothingness even further, she could not help giving voice to her bewilderment. It was almost as if the priest was actually him.
そう確かにその通り
I don't want to say it, I'm just checking if the recording goes correctly, okay? I'm worried a little bit sometimes. The impenetrable armor, the divine zeal ruptured for a moment to let the lance emerge from its being. Now was the perfect chance to strike, and yet...
ほぼ正解であるとだけ言っておきましょう
Yet she could not move an inch. With her state of nothingness and mind of void disrupted, she was no better than a powerless cadaver.
ごめんなさい藤井君
Kai and Beatrice.
私やっぱり勝てなかったよ
However, in that moment...
諦めないで
Never give up! A familiar voice, one she hadn't heard for years, echoed within her.
まだ終わっていないそうでしょケイ
She could have never forgotten that voice.
もう一撃
Yes, one more strike and it would be all. I mean, it would all.
あなたが生産杯を倒しなさい
One more strike and...
呼んで
Kay could no longer contain her tears. She thought she would never meet her again, that all had been lost. She suffered so much pain and terror, wrestled with crushing loneliness on a daily basis. If this was a dream, she wished never to wake from it. She yearned to once again call her name like she used to. She cried out the name as if beseeching the divines, and the miracle answered. The gates of the church shuttered as a silver blade emerged from the cloud of dust and rubble. It shot straight towards the priest like a bolt of lightning answering the call of its summoner.
スルーズ・ワルキューレバカな
Impossible became possible, man. How could that weapon possibly be here? It should have shattered and turned to dust this moment Cain fell, for the giant absorbed everything as part of its body.
そうかリザ
Nope. She transformed it into a persona for the dead warrior, into its sheath. She separated from the rest of the false lance's legion, only temporarily touching it to the whole, thus preserving its individual existence. That also makes sense. That was why it couldn't be absorbed by the swastika with the rest of Cain's souls, once Renfuji had slain the defective Einherjar. But for what purpose would they?
あなたにはわからない
Kay caught the lightning blade in her right hand and let the inertia of the projectile guide her. With the emergence of the second blade, the possibility of a second strike revived from the ashes of despair like a phoenix from the ashes. Oh, there was... okay, never mind.
死の魂はその剣に宿りいつまでも生き続ける
Not like a man of valor Yatrifa's disposition could ever understand. It was a concept beyond the priest, he who thought of souls and the lives of mortal men as no more than perpetually recycled to trash.
私たちは負けたりしない
Exactly! A terrible shudder rushed down Trifa's spine. God damn it! Why did I have to name him like that? Trifa's spine. still remained steadfast in his position despite a torturing inclination to step back.
何をバカな。
He could not lose, he could not fall, he would tread the world for an eternity. He had yet to atone for his sins.
私は罪人だ。英語を償い続ける拷罰の領袖。
Well, sorry, but we are finishing that. If he fell here, then what would become of the beloved children he had been forced to betray? Who would save their souls? Or could this be precisely the punishment that the Lord would exact upon him?
いいな。いいな、いいな。断じていいな。
He would never accept this. He was meant to be a prisoner to eternal penance. He had walked the path of a wicked saint with unparalleled zeal and pride. He would not allow his sacred mission to be halted, not by anyone.
私は負けぬ。負けられぬ。
Just give up, you can.
それはあなただけの気持ちじゃない。
The blade of the Valkyrie, blessed by the divine thunder, had proved faster than even the lance of sacred Crete. For its strike, capable of outrunning lightning itself, had boasted inhuman speed even among numbers of the obsidian table. Only Schreiber, whose boundless acceleration depended on the speed of his opponents, and Ren, who possessed the power to halt time, would ever stand a chance against the electromagnetic dance of the Valkyrie. Well, I guess Kei's brother also. As it was said, he was more powerful. What could have been the cause of his fall? When did he make such a fatal mistake? The moment he decided to finish Kei with the whole lance, or when he forced Cain to meet Ren Fuji in battle? Should he have allowed Lord Schreiber to remain in the mortal realm, or was it the betrayal of First Lieutenant Bay that proved to be his undoing? Lisa? Malleus? Spinne? He could not understand. He could not find a single mistake in his designs. He manipulated everyone, played them all like a fool. He boasted full confidence in his victory. You know, you say you played them all in the fiddle. What if you played yourself as well? Anyway. That was it. He had finally understood. His fall was set in stone 11 years ago. His beloved children abandoned him the moment he chose to pit the two lovers against each other. All his schemes began falling apart, as he forced others to commit the very same mortal sin that he had been his very own origin.
さらばです。セサ拝啓下。もう誰一人としてあなたに惑わされる者は生まれない。
The tip of the Valkyrie's blade slipped through the chink in his armor like a crafty needle exploding in purple lightning. The impregnable vessel of the gods began to crumble. Valeria Krifa could no longer remain his body. As the blade pierced his chest, his soul had been expunged and began to dissipate. However, Kei could not have foreseen what her rash actions would cause. She could not have known what would happen if the priest had been liberated from the divine visa. Flee swiftly and immediately! The seventh swastika had opened. Only one remained, and the moment it was satisfied. Within the dark depths of his recording consciousness, Trifa could make wow out of the voice of their Lord.
その名にふさわしき歌劇だった。Kの正義、約定通り見届けたぞ。
He had come to claim his visa. No, no. With this, all was lost.
我がレギオンとなり、とはに安らげ。
Trifa's soul departed the divine vessel with an ear-piercing shriek. And that was not all. An apparition manifested above the altar, swallowing the statue of the Virgin Mary as it shed tears of blood, and the cross that appeared to have rusted in crimson. The golden chaos rift dropped and ultimately came alive. The beast, the devil, born of a million blood pacts forged of an alloy of steel and bones and the flesh of man, he was the very embodiment of war. and so the densely concentrated physical form of hell itself descended upon the mortal realm. Called the chant all light save for the beguiling luster of its own self, dispelling the night of the mortal realm with its radiance.
逃げろ。逃げるのです。レオンハルト。
ゲカ
Kay realized she could no longer recognize the priest's face. The raging golden chaos seemed to have perverted it. The frame of the man remained tall and delicate, but his cheeks had grown thinner, his eyes had retracted and grown hollow, his face turned into the mask of a debilitated old man. Emmer shade what was once a man, unable to bear the horror of his science as he drowned himself in madness. Was deep this whole Valdriva, but then why did it look like nothing like the Divine Vessel? To whom did this impregnable body belong?
私は後悔などしていない。私は幾度生まれ変わろうと私にしかなれない。
You sure you don't regret something? I mean, I'm pretty sure you should.
詫びもしないし許しも請わない。ですがどうかレオンハルト、我が娘よ。
Run for your life.
今すぐ逃げ続けなさい。たとえ1秒でも一瞬でもハイドリヒ教を倒すことなど誰にもできない。
Wanna bet? The laugh of the beast filled the chapel as the priest's soul vanished to the depths of the golden chaos. The monarch of destruction towered before Cain in all of his grandeur, the strongest and the vilest of souls that had ever graced the cosmos. Well, probably Earth, we don't know about cosmos, right?
信頼、友情、義心、いたわり。美しい。見事なり生産杯、レオンハルト、バルキュリア、トバルカイン。ケラ皆、我が僧侶として永遠に生きよう。関皆、我が内で渦巻くがいい。
His voice boomed like a deafening explosion as the simmering gold reclaimed his divine vessel. In that one, Kay understood everything.
これがこの器がハイドリヒ教。
No wonder she could not destroy it. No wonder it seemed invincible. It was a vessel for a legion to dwell in, a divine contraption blessed with a multitude of defensive enchantments designed by the Mercury himself. It had been prepared as a cradle to host reincarnate Heidrich's soul during his triumphant return to the mortal world. Valeria Trifa could wield the lance only because he had been possessing the body of its true and rightful master.
しかり、故にわかるな、レオンハルト。
Yeah, run! As its rightful owner returned to the vessel, the gold slayer's lance awoke to its true and supreme power. Fleeing would be of little significance, for the tip of the holy lance could pierce all fools regardless of what rules they had imposed upon the physical realm.
我がエインフェリアの列に加わるがいい。
Not interested, please stay. Tell him you are not interested! Run! The blessing of the beast, Kay could no longer escape the honor of everlasting slavery. She merely stood there in an absent-minded stupor, gazing at the golden tip of the lance as it slowly advanced towards her heart.
嫌だ。
And so she begged desperately for someone to save her. That's when the chapter ended! Shit! They are all dropping like crazy! Alright, so basically 6 are alive, right? I mean, number 1. Then we have our creator, kind of, you know, second one. Then we have number 5, so okay. 6, which is basically Rhea. We have number 7 as well. Gott von Berlichingen, or whatever. And Zamiel as well, number 9. And of course, the 13, so Zarathustra, us. The kickasters. We have to kick some asses. Anyway, that would be it for now. Chapter 12 finished, and tomorrow we shall continue. We'll see. We will see if we'll move to defy imminently or something. Well, I don't know. That's what I will expect, kind of. And I'm curious. What's with Ren now? Did he level up or what? Well, we'll see. Maybe he will level up somehow. For now, hope you enjoyed it. See you next one. In the next episode. Coming tomorrow, hopefully. And yeah, bye bye.